So many of the gardens you see, once you see them in these videos, they're all picture perfect and they're just like nice and neat and clean. And um, gardening is not always nice, neat, and clean. As you can see, there are a ton of weeds back here right now. Things are a little overgrown. Things are just kind of filling in. Like as your little cute baby plants, your little seedlings grow, they take over. But then as it rains, the rain just push those weeds all around and they just grow and grow. Things fall over, wind knocks stuff over. And then I wanted these metal raised beds for the side of my garden for forever, for like 2 years now. But I was just not willing to pay the cost that they were. So I waited. Like I built the ones on the side myself. The plants that are over here where I'm working right now, they're in the garden. They were inside of the ground in the garden because I had some extra seedlings last fall. And I was going to just put a cute little like butterfly garden over there. And then I decided, I can mix in a butterfly garden with some seedlings. My collard greens and my kale did really well in this area last fall and in the spring. My eggplant, this one right here that I'm holding up, that's the eggplant. They're growing really well in the ground right here as well. So I've just decided that I'm going to go ahead and, keep this side as an expansion of the garden. I'm just going through within this video. This is just like a part one of cleaning up the garden, because it has just gotten to be, overgrown. But really, it's just been so hot. It has rained off and on for the past 2 weeks, and it's humid down here in South Florida, and then it just being hot in general makes it for a miserable time in the garden. Like even within this video, I couldn't even work the whole time because it was just too hot and I did not want to have a heat stroke, So I do take breaks and stop. I went to the house a few times. I came back out. I didn't even add in the mulch and everything to it at the same time. It was just way too hot out there. And this was early in the morning. It's a process. When you're putting up a garden, it's definitely a process. It's not, always other people to help you out. Sometimes it's just you. And a lot of this garden and the garden build out and the planting and the pruning and the fertilizing and the weeding and the building of the trellises and the putting together of the beds and the putting together of anything you see here has been done pretty much all by me. My kids are small, so they can't really help, but they do help from time to time, hold this or hold that. Often than not, they're usually the one holding the camera for me. My son does that, but usually it's just me. And I can only do so much by myself in between, taking care of the 2 little ones and going to work. But I really had this look that I wanted for the garden, and I just wasn't compromising to really just get kind of anything for this side. And I also wasn't willing to spend just any amount of money to get there. And I'm really glad that I waited because I was able to get these beds from a different site for it was 4 for the price of 1 what I saw last spring. So I'm just really excited about them because it is the end of July. Some of the garden items are starting to go on sale. So like this mulch that I really love, it was $2 a bag. Usually I've spent like $3.40 sometimes for this particular mulch. And I've also seen it though for I think Lowe's and Home Depot, those big box stores have it for $2.98 or so. But it is a 2 cubic, foot per bag mulch. But I use it at the bottom of my raised beds. to fill it in, like as most people would put in like limbs or logs or tree branches. I don't have those, so I just use this mulch, and it works the same. But because it's already broken down, unlike your logs or your large branches, it decomposes very fast. So it helps to feed the soil, and my plants seem to really love it. It holds a lot of moisture, which is a good thing because down here in South Florida, it does get just so hot and it dries out. I want to point out this white pole that I just kind of bumped into right there. We have in-ground sprinklers, and up until now, they have not been tall enough to go over the black metal beds I have on the other side. They just kind of pop up in the ground. So this been a time where I'm like, I'm really going to go with this garden, go full force, get it like how I really want it. Again, taking my time, saving, budgeting, and really thoughtfully planning out what I wanted and where. I had someone come out and he dug up the 3 sprinkler heads that were already over there. He raised them up. So they're raised up on a PVC piping. Then he attached it to another PVC pipe to keep it from swaying. And the pop-up sprinkler head is now on top of that. So this is how you see it. We go to like the side of the road sometimes. They have the in-ground sprinklers to like water the bushes that are along the medians. It's like that. So these are perfect. Now I don't have to go out here and water every single day to get bit up by mosquitoes or sweating when it's 1,000 degrees in the evening, because I'm not going on the side of my house at nighttime. I water when I get home from work about 4 o'clock. So it's worked. I know it's hot during that time when you quote unquote shouldn't, but you gotta do what you have to do to keep your plants alive. That's what I've done. They've done well, but this is just going to take so much off of me without me having to go out there and worry about water. The sprinklers, they come on every evening to water the yard, which includes this side of the house, so I don't have to go out there. If it rains, then they don't go off. At least they shouldn't go off. If the rain gauge is working properly, they won't water. But otherwise, they come on and they run. One rotates, so maybe 2 of them rotate, but they get the entire garden. Even the things in the back, he moved one of the sprinkler heads to the other side of the little pathway, so that where I have my cucumber plants in the back and my peach tree, everything gets watered. So I'm extremely thankful for that. And it did not cost me nearly what I thought it would. And because the in-ground sprinklers are using in-ground water, it's pumping up through like a well basically. And for us, I believe our water comes from the lake in the back. The way it's designed, I'm not having to even pay for the extra water on my water bill because it's it's groundwater. It's not the city water. But I did buy. I bought 12 beds. I have 12 of these beds. You're gonna see. So I've only put together 10. I think 2 of the beds I already had down before I started recording, just to kind of make sure that they will actually fit in the space. And then I just put them down. These beds took me like 30 to 45 minutes per bed to put together. Like 30 minutes. And then at some point I had to like stop, take a break, take care of the little people, help them get in bed. And then we started getting tired of doing something. It takes you longer to do it. But I still have to put together 2 more. They were pretty simple to put together, but they definitely took time. It's a lot of little screws. They came in very tiny boxes, but they're so pretty. Oh, what I did not do, they have a plastic film on them, and I was just lazy. I knew I had a whole bunch to do, so I have not taken off the plastic off of all of the beds. Maybe like 3 panels do not have that plastic on them. So I have to go back. I'm hoping that as it heats up, it'll help bubble the plastic film to make it easier to come off. Be careful because they are a little sharp. I did cut myself on one of the bends while I was actually trying to get the plastic off. And pulling it back, I just kind of ran my hand along the side a little bit and ended up cutting myself. But it wasn't bad. But I did was like, this has to be an easier way to peel off this plastic and not cut myself and not scratch the bed. So I'm hoping that the humidity and the heat get to it and help bubble it up so I can just kind of pull it off easier. Also, the wood I've been pulling up in between. So I had wood pieces that were like helping to hold the gravel in place that I had on one side, or the mulch I had down. So along the back where the house is, so beside the house, I had rocks down there. All of that green stuff between like the house and the beds, those are all weeds that have grown. So the water ends up pooling right there, and it's just called the weeds just pick up and like, hey, we're here. So at some point I'll go back there and I'll pull all those weeds up. I also though did decide to expand that garden just a little bit, just so that I could put that sprinkler head I was talking about inside of a bed, just to help protect it from getting bumped, because it is up. I told about it to just bump into it. So by putting it in the bed, it just kind of gives it more protection to not get broken. That's all. And then same thing in the back. I put there's a second head back there also, just up out right there on the edge. I did the exact same thing. I just put the raised bed like to wrap it around. So if you want a garden, please get a garden, have fun, with it. But just know that everything does not have to be done at the exact same time. It's okay if you start it, you move on to one task, you come back later on, do a different task. Like, I'm so thankful that I waited on this, because like I say, the mulch was cheaper. Today I went out and I went to the store, and Walmart had some soil on sale. So I was able to save money there. I'm going to go back and get some more. I didn't have enough space in the car because the kids were with me. So I need to go back and pick up a lot more bags of that. But that was discounted. I need to get some sand to help with the drainage. I'm going to use sand instead of perlite this time inside these beds, because the sand will still help with drainage and aeration of the soil. However, it'll be more like my native soil that I have that has done really well. My the in-ground greens I grew last year and my brassicas did so well in ground. They did much better in ground than in the beds. And the difference with my in-ground soil versus my raised bed soil, I have like a sandier type soil in ground, and they loved it. Compared to the perlite cocoa core mixture that I had in the beds. They grew fine in there. They just didn't grow as fast or as large. So I want to mimic my in-ground soil as much as possible, because the broccoli heads got big quick. The cabbages did well. The collard greens did well. The kale did well. Everything in ground just took off. And I also noticed less bug pressure with my in-ground versus my raised beds. I think a part of it was just the soil composition, and that sandiness of it, I think, helped with the drainage when it begins to rain a lot. I think that also helped. So it does still rain in the fall here and in the winter. Not as much as it does during the summer, but that sand really lets that water just flow through it, which a lot of the other materials, won't do that. So I have the wood chips on the bottom to help retain for when it's hot, but then the sand will allow it to kind of drain out so that the whole bed, all the compost and things won't be as thick. Okay, so I think that'll help. It's worked well with my fabric bags I have growing with a sand compost topsoil mixture. I have some grapefruits in that. My Barbados cherry trees are in it. My fig tree. And basically all of my container plants I've done in the last few months have a little bit of soil in them, because I just had a big bag and I just mix it in there, and it does great. And I'm just trying to adjust these beds here. Like, I decided I wanted my beds to be on this like angle. I thought it'd be kind of cute to have the angle. And I worked really hard with putting all these beds on this angle. And then you'll see me like, I'm literally going to adjust all the beds. It's about 9 or 10 beds I think I have down at this point that I'm adjusting. And I like step back and I look at it. And even while looking at it in this video, I feel like I may like it this way, because I think it looks nice, but I wasn't sure. And I just kept looking around, like, the more I adjust, I feel like the more work I'm creating for myself, because I have to still clean off this walkway, and I still got to put down the mulch and the dirt inside of the beds. That callaloo plant is just seeds now. I need to go in and take all those seeds off. This table needs to go somewhere. It's going to go there. But now I have all these bricks. That wood is like, ugh. This is now what's not a problem. Now it's a problem. I'm trying to decide, do I even need it anymore? Because I had it, again, to hold the rocks that were inside of my little sitting area. That's right there. It has some bricks and it has a little brick, pebble, stone set up there that I have going. So I might end up just, I don't know. I have to think about that still. Yeah, I think I need to put those bricks where those chairs are, because the chairs still sink. The bricks on that side, they aren't far apart, but I think they're too far apart for that area. And so the chairs aren't sitting perfectly on like 4 bricks to keep them up. There's still some more wood pieces back there. I just pulled one out. We just probably take out that piece of wood. That was a part of the original raised bed that I did like 3 years ago in that spot. I just pulled it up. Yeah, I just, so now I have to like throw away wood or decide, am I going to keep the wood and try to reuse it somewhere? I don't know what I need it for. I probably do need it, but I probably won't keep it because I'm tired of seeing it. Yeah, so I did all that work. I got them all at an angle, but I'm feeling like they probably stick out too much, but I'm not sure. So then I go and I'm like, okay, what can I do? This back table needs to be cleaned. It's just so much to be done. So I'm really hoping, though, that over the next 2 weeks, I'm able to get like 95% of this finished. I want to paint the trellises. They might end up having to wait and be painted like Thanksgiving break or something. Maybe Labor Day weekend. I'll come out here and paint those. But they need to be painted. I need to paint. I want to paint the walkway, the larger stones. I think I want them to be black, because right now I just feel like they always have this like dirty look. I need to go out there now with some Dawn soap and just scrub that walkway and get up the weeds and grass that have grown in between. I want to put down pebbles all around my raised bed, so that's another expense. And I want to put down pebbles also, so not just on the raised beds with the white side, the white beds, but also on the left-hand side. I want to put down pebbles in front of those. Right now, in the past, it's been mulch. It might be more mulch for now just because the mulch is on sale. I can get it relatively cheap and just do like one more round of mulch and then go back with the pebbles maybe in the spring. We'll see. I haven't decided on that. I'll think about it. I really, really think about how I'm going to do that. Because the mulch is easy, but the pebbles, it's like a 1 or 2 time fee. They don't break down as much, because I've already put down, I think, like 2 or 3 bags of mulch in that little area in the past year, and it does decompose over time. But yeah, that's basically it for now. So I'm going to just show you all the cleanup, this real-time cleanup that is, it's not always, that put together space. It's okay if you put things down. It's okay if you move them around to get it how you want it. I just wanted to really showcase real life and the hard work that goes into it, the contemplating on your feet, like, do I like this? Do I not like this? And then the realization that maybe a simple pattern is better than another pattern. And just, staying true to yourself. I'm just hoping that I can go ahead and get all this done so that come spring planting time, which I should be working on that now, getting my seeds out, my seedlings started. But come that time when it's time to plant in my seedlings or my starts, if I end up going with starts, I already have beds that are ready. I have things that are prepped. I am going to add probably some more seedlings in here for now just to keep the soil from, having weeds in it. Probably put some beans down because beans are very easy to do. And just keep it clean because what took me, I think I cut out a little bit of this video, but it's probably about 35 minutes. And I was able to put down these beds. And inside of each bed, I did clean out all the weeds that were inside of the beds. So that took time that I've been kind of putting off, getting them all really cleaned up and cleaned out. So that all worked. I just have to now go in and put down some mulch and make up my soil mixture. I'm trying to say I need to go in and buy the sand. I got some of the topsoil. I do need some more topsoil to mix in. And then I already have my fertilizer to add to it. I'm also out of bone meal and blood meal. But I think I'm going to wait and do those once I figure out what I'm going to plant in which bed. To just put that, to specialize these containers. I like the idea of having more containers, these smaller ones, so that I'm able to actually really customize what each type of plant within that bed will get versus just always fertilizing everything with the same fertilizer, even though that I know that all of my items don't need the same fertilizers. So by them being in smaller beds, I'm able to, give the brassicas more nitrogen. I'm able to give, my fruiting flowers more potassium, just to keep so that I'm giving them the right things. I'm not wasting time or wasting money by giving them items that they don't really need. So that's just really what I'm going to focus on. I think from here on out is I'll probably still kind of mix my beds up, but I think I'm going to have some like this whole bed is just carrots. This whole bed is just kale. This whole bed is just collard greens. Just I think I'm going to try that, or I might just do like the back end of the bed will be eggplant. The back will be the okra. The back of it will be the bigger fruiting items, and then have my strawberries or my kale mixed in towards the front. But that way I'm still able to kind of just divide up my fertilizers better. I think it'll help. So if you're thinking about having a garden and you're worried about, it always looking perfect, it won't. The gardens you see on Instagram or wherever, on YouTube, they won't always look cute, and it's okay. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and liking and sharing this video. Thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely day. And as always, happy gardening.